Welcome back. It's another day of IBN's 12 Days of Bourbon Hunting. And this is another one where we've done a review of the Russell's 15. So we thought, how can we spice it up?
How can we spice it up? We can compare it to the 13.
Let's do it, because there was no 13 in 2024 because there was the 15.
Now, Chad, how did we come across this 15 bottle?
How? Oh, yeah. I had to think. So, I got a heads up from a friend who was like, hey, are you going to the Wild Turkey Distillery today for the Russell's 15? And I said, huh?
I wasn't, but now I am.
What? And another time where you were not able to go, so we couldn't get our 2 bottles. It was 1 per person, obviously.
It's interesting how these have all lined up with my unavailable schedule.
Yeah, she's
It's
the
not
unavailable
always
one.
like that,
Yeah.
but sometimes it do be like that.
So this was before we kind of concocted how we were going to do the 12 days this year, based it around hunting. So I didn't get good footage or really inning footage, but I do have the picture of the line. And I also had a picture of my ticket, because they handed out tickets. If you got a ticket, you were guaranteed to get one, and that's how they sort of did crowd control. And then I deleted that picture.
Oh,
and
boo.
it's been 30 days, so that's gone.
Can't be recovered. Boo.
Yeah, boo. But there is another story about how this bottle came about. I'll tell you about that later. Let's get these poured up already.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
Let's do 15 in the full logo.
Okay.
Now you see the 13 here. This is just for display, because this is what a bottle of 13 looks like. This is from 2021, which is the first year that it came out. But we did have a 2022 version and a sample bottle, so that's what we've poured up here in the Drink More Bourbon Glencairn. As I said, there wasn't a 2024, so this makes this just 1 year removed from being the current 13 year.
And why wasn't there a 2024?
Because the 15 came out.
That's right. They just said, hey, let's just put up 15 out instead. I don't know if that's what they said.
They said, hey.
They said, hey.
Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go with the current year and then...
I don't know.
Or should we step up in years?
Let's step up in age, yeah.
Okay.
Let's start with the 13.
13 year.
Oh, I love that nose. I don't know why I'm looking at this one.
Well, proof, remind us.
114.8 proof.
117.2 on the 15 year.
So we're playing in that middle teens.
I really feel like I'm just repeating myself the entirety of these 12 days.
Are you about to say dark fruit?
I was going to say ripe.
Baking
I was going to
spice?
say ripe fruit. But I feel like in a lot of these older age stuff and the stuff that stands out on our radar have a lot of those notes, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
This one smells so desserty to me. Like,
It's very desserty.
it makes my mouth water just to nose it. And then again, this is the 13 year, the
from
2022.
2022, yeah. It's great nose. I want to drink it. You want to drink it?
Yeah.
All right.
I could sit here and smell it all day.
To health. Daggone.
I forget how much I like this one.
Yeah. Oh.
Ugh. Rich, just
Creamy.
viscous, creamy, yeah. Coating, desserty, a little bit of spice,
dark
a little bit
chocolate.
of citrus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oak, the spice. What is this spice?
Really well balanced. Like, it's not
Black pepper, I
super
feel
jutting
like.
out in any one direction. It's very much like playing the middle of the bourbon wheel, but it's doing it right. And that gradual building heat on the finish.
Real nice, Clark. Real nice.
I'd let this one tuck me into bed.
And
I just said tuck me in and read me a book.
Read me a story.
But that's as far. If you give a Sarah a bourbon, she'll ask for another one. And a
Mouse and
bedtime
cookie.
story. And
Well, this is unprecedented. I had my second sip before second sip. Sarah had her second sip. She was talking about mice and cookies. More darkness on the second sip, more barrel.
More barrel on the
Mulled spices, dessert spices, that type of,
baking spices.
baking spices, yeah.
Again, with the wood notes, but also a little bit of leather and tobacco in there too.
Showing its
Specifically
age.
the tobacco. Like, I feel like this one would pair really well with a cigar if that's what you're into. It's not what I'm into, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's
to each his own.
definitely tobacco leaf on there.
This one I want to sit with it and just slowly sip it. And just have
Well,
a
you
little
can after this.
Just want to have a talk with it.
Just to talk.
Throughout the evening.
Well, I want to have a talk with you all, and it's about whiskyambitions.com. It's our home on the internet. It's where you can get the t-shirt and hat that I'm wearing. Both of the cairns that we're drinking from. The rye whiskey shirt, now back, or it's a sweater
It's
actually.
a sweatshirt.
Now back in stock. Our elemental elixir cocktail syrup, all of our bottle cut candles and jar candles and more at whiskyambitions.com.
And you can become a patron at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight and join our community for as little as $1 a month. That's right. If you've heard it once, you've heard it a million times. But that is where you get access to our barrel picks and after the episode exclusives and lots more.
We've had some barrel picks from these.
From Russell's.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got some coming out soon.
That's right. Okay, we'll be right back. The 15 year.
15.
We step up 2 years.
The headliner.
In age. That's right. This was the opening act over here. And we step up a little bit in proof. 117.2 proof. And it's showing it in the nose.
Yeah, I think so too. Somehow it got even more intense, but in a, like Chad says, in a darker way.
In a darker
Whatever that
way.
means in taste and smell. Darker.
A little bit more dark side on this one.
A little more, I think it's more syrupy. It has more depth.
I feel it's more
More
savory.
oak, more savory.
Just as mouth-watering though with the nose.
Yeah. Wow. Some of the best noses of this entire series, I think, if I must say.
I agree with that.
The mouthfeel on both of these is, I think, the star. But oh my gosh, they're both doing such a good job
Both doing a lot.
of touching, I think, each area of a bourbon flavor wheel without and being balanced between them all and not going out crazy in one direction and just being like, this is a lot of oak. That wouldn't surprise me for the 15 year, but it doesn't do that. It keeps, again, those baking spice notes. It has the oak, but there is also this really, really rich, ripe fruit. There's the dessert notes, there's some chocolate. And it has those age notes as well that we talked about on the 13 with the leather and tobacco. Like these two are very clearly related, but they are different enough. Do you have anything to add?
Not after all that. As always, you have said it first. I sort of get the image of maple syrup, and I think that is because of the viscosity here. It's got, I would say, a little bit better mouthfeel than the 13. It just feels like it's slow moving sorghum or molasses, maple syrup. It's rich like that. It's also desserty in the way of the 13, but also, as I said on the nose, more savory. The black pepper, I think, is shared there with both of them. This one is maybe a tad more bitter, but not in a bad way at all. And I'm getting that really on the finish. Hug-wise, I feel like they're pretty
similar.
Pretty similar.
I think the 15 gives us slightly more.
Yeah, just a slightly more.
Just an extra pat.
With that little bit higher proof.
Yeah.
But I want to go second sip on this guy.
You know what the 15 kind of reminds me of is there's a restaurant local to here called OBC Kitchen, and it's a bourbon bar, and they do candied bacon, and it's that sweet and savory. Like if I was having that candied bacon with a bourbon, it kind of reminds me of the 15.
Oh, yeah.
But mostly just like that outside candied part.
Now that you said that, I'm honestly tasting peanut butter because they serve it.
They do serve
the
it
bacon
with
the
peanut butter dipping sauce.
Yeah.
Sounds weird, but it works
No,
somehow.
it works.
I'm not
Trust
sure.
me, it works.
For me, mouthfeel is a star between both of these. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
There
you
is
going back to the 13?
not yet.
Okay.
I do think there's, as I would expect, a touch more oak on the 15. Who would have thought? Spends 2 more years in the wood. Who would have thought?
I do get more brightness now on the nose of the 13.
Yeah, when you go
just
back.
a little bit, but I don't think it can compete with the richness of the 15 nose-wise. But now I'm going back to the 13.
Gosh. These are both excellent. I think on any given day, depending on my mood, I would choose. It would flip-flop for me, which one I would choose if you put them in front of me blind. I don't know if it's a choice. I think you gotta have them both. I mean, that's easy to say when they're going for whatever they're going for in the
Collect them
secondary
all.
market and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's a discussion of one or the other. Yeah, how has it evolved since they've raised it to that 15 year?
Agreed. Now, I did say that there was another edition on the hunting front.
Oh, yeah.
For this, and this one came online. So I saw our friends at Shared Pour.
You always forget about that
Yeah.
when you're hunting.
May have been an email, may have been on Instagram, I can't remember. I was notified that Shared Pour had some 15 year in stock, so I rushed to the web. It was in a 5-pack. So to get the bottle, and you've seen this before, but to get the bottle of 15 year, you had to buy a 5-pack of Russells. So it also came with 2 of the 6-year Rise and 2 of the 10 year 90 proof Russells.
Which we've been loving lately.
Yeah, we've had a renaissance really with those 10 year bourbons. I love all of those expressions, so I was like, okay, I'm getting 5 whiskeys, and one of them is a 15 year, so I did it. Now, here's the nice little surprise. They came, the 2 Russells were, cellophane wrapped for shipping safety, for cork poppage, right? I just set those aside in the closet.
The 2 Russell's 10th.
2 Russell 10s,
Yeah.
yeah. Didn't even open them up. And then here comes all this laser code stuff about the LLME, whatever, the supposed Russell's 10 that had the reject barrels of the 15 dumped into it. I think that's been debunked. We didn't really follow that closely, but it's like, I just wonder if those 2 that I got from Sherpa in the bundle were the laser code. So finally took them out of their plastic, and yep, both of them were those laser codes. And I think we're gonna do that maybe later in this.
Maybe we'll do that on.
Do one versus a non-laser code.
I do think the Russell's 10 deserves a little moment of a spotlight this year in 2024. Sure. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a later episode.
Yeah, so that was our second hunting our second bottle came from online.
I mean, sometimes the beats sitting in the cold for hours on end.
Sure does.
Well, I don't know about you, but I can definitely see the through line, the
maturity,
the maturation happening between, from the 13 to the 15.
Mm-hmm.
They're very much in the same vein, but I wouldn't say one of them is definitely better than the other. I just think they're both a good showcasing point of how age changes things, and it's not always for the better. In this case,
that's correct.
There are I wouldn't say pros and cons to each, but each one has its little feathers in its cap. And I would be pleased with each one.
I agree with everything you said. I do feel like there is one that I'm preferring right now in this sitting, so I'm ready to vote if you are.
This is a first. I've never not been ready.
That's normally me over there.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do 3, 2, 1. Put our hand over the bottle. 3, 2, 1.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Wow, we're split again.
Yeah.
This happened on the Heaven Hill 18 V17.
But again, on a different day at a different time of day, I would choose this one. There's nothing I don't like about this one. It's just it has a little bit more oak.
And you are more oak sensitive.
And I'm more oak sensitive. So for me, the 13 is hitting, it's perfect. Like, it is not too far. Not that this is too far.
I do enjoy the little bit more brightness on the 13.
For me, I'm feeling that today.
Of the 15.
And maybe if this was 9 o'clock at night, I would be feeling that more. Yeah. But I won't tell you what time it is. You don't need to know. Don't worry about it.
It's the afternoon.
I could go with either of these and be thrilled, not just happy.
Yeah, thrilled. I think that's a takeaway. Thrilled for both of these Russells. They do an incredible job.
Well, I guess that puts us about halfway through the series so far, right? I hope you're thrilled with how it's been going. I know I am, but I'm getting to drink these things again, so that's nice for me.
Yeah. If you aren't subscribed to us already, we'd love to have you. And for those who already are subscribed, welcome back, and we appreciate you. But if you haven't, 2024, you can still do it, and it's still free. You can do so by clicking right up here. There's suggestions of other videos down here, and we'll see if they're in one of those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
All right, until tomorrow, drink more bourbon.